Hi everyone, it's Suey, and I finally finished a big book for Big Book Summer. Can't even remember now if I've counted any other books towards this summer project, but finally I got through The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. It is a book I've had on my TBR forever and ever. I don't even know where it came from. Let's see, when was it published? I feel like it's one of her first books, 2010. So yes, it's a while back. And so I thought I would do a little review. First part will be spoiler free. I will let you know if I feel like I'm getting into spoilers, okay? The Distant Hours by Kate Morton, sort of promoted as a gothic suspense romance. I don't even know if romance. A nod to gothic tales, okay? Which I absolutely love and adore, those kinds of things. Just the little bit of spookiness, but you know, not like a horror story or anything, but just that eerie feeling. And we did get a little bit into that, but for the most part, this story is quite slow moving, very character driven, but with this story that's tangled up throughout these two families, basically, and a mystery of what happened. Now, I'm not usually into mysteries either, but this is the kind of mystery I like. People hiding secrets, and then we as readers and as a character are unraveling those secrets throughout the book. So that's the kind of mysteries I like, I guess. The present day is 1992, basically. That's the present day in this book. It all takes place in England. Our main character, one day her mom opens a letter that was lost in the mail for 50 years. And so when her mom opens this letter, her mom starts crying, and our girl is really curious what was in that letter. Her mom doesn't say anything about it. And it turns out that her mom was an evacuee during World War II, which is when people in England sent their kids out into the countryside to be away from the cities so that they would be, if the cities got bombed, the kids would be safe. And so the mom of our main character was one of these kids. And so in 1940, I think it was 1940, she was put on a train and ended up living in this beautiful castle out in the countryside where three sisters lived, a set of twins and a young girl. The twins at that time were around 30-ish, 30s. In their 30s, they were quite a bit older than their half-sister, who was the young girl. And she became really good friends with the girl, and she loved her time there, but she never talked about it to the daughter. The daughter knew this happened, but didn't know any stories about it. So when the letter came, it made the girl be very curious, and she started investigating and found herself one day at the castle and met the girls that still lived there. Now they're old ladies in 1992. And she started feeling like, ooh, there's something going on here. The young sister, who's now, like in her 70s or something, is kind of lost it. She's kind of gone crazy. She's kind of an invalid in her mind. Our main character wants to know what happened. And so that is the premise of the story, how she starts digging into things, starts asking questions, and starts putting together what happened and what made the young girl go crazy, what her mom experienced. It goes back and forth between what she's doing in the present day, 1992, and following the stories of our different people in the 40s. And we get the point of view from the sisters and from the mom and from a couple of guys, and it's really, really, really well written, as all Kate Morton stories are. I love her writing style. I love it so much. Just this subtle way of getting into your soul with her story. It took me a little bit to get into it, but once I started understanding what was going on and I was getting the characters all straight and understanding kind of the jumping back and forth. It's not just back and forth between the points of view, but kind of with time. In time, I almost felt like we needed a timeline somewhere so that we could see when all these things were happening. But at the end, it all kind of falls together and makes sense. I forgot to mention that another element that's winding its way through the book is that the dad of these girls that owned the castle, he is a writer, and he wrote a book called The History of the Mud Man or something. And so that story is also kind of important and weaves its way through all the stuff that's going on. And I didn't always understand how that tied in to everything, but it all made sense in the end and was kind of brilliant at how it all tied together. I don't think I'm going to go in and talk about any of the details, so there's not really any spoilers in the end after all. So if you would love that kind of story, kind of, you know, the gothiciness comes when you're in an old castle and thunder and lightning happens and the lights are going out and you're walking in the rain and you're creeping along outside in the woods and you don't know what you're going to see, and there's crazy ladies and there's crazy animals, and we've got war and bombs and blackouts and all kinds of things like that to connect into this gothic feeling, which I really, really loved. There's my thoughts and my review on this book that I am so happy to have finally read, The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. I have a couple more on my TBR pile by her, and I would love to keep going and read some more of hers. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.